God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Yeah. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
All right. If you sing louder, you don't have to listen to me. Just saying. So how we all doing this morning? Great to see you all. It's lovely to be here. It's lovely to have cool weather. Yes, a nice summer day in Leitrim is what we're having today. All right. So let's just take a moment and express a gratitude for the nice, soft Irish weather we're experiencing today. The time that we take our seats. Now is the time that we take our seats. I see no announcements. So please help me welcome to the platform Reverend Elizabeth Schneider. Yes. All right. All right. So we have a few folks kind of coming in here. You have a flower on your pen here. All right. So let's take a deep, conscious breath. Release, relax into this eternal now moment, surrendering to this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is a unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Elizabeth lights the healing candle, as Reverend Elizabeth lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center. And as Reverend Elizabeth lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and I see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
So join me in consciousness, please, this morning, as I speak my word for each and every person here. As I declare joy, peace, love, beauty, creativity, wisdom, these qualities of God are in me as I am an expression of divine intelligence. I declare that I recognize these qualities of God are also of me. I possess godlike qualities because they are my divine inheritance. I feel the joy within me vibrating with the joy of the divine. I relax into an awareness of a field of infinite possibilities and experience the quality of joy and the unity of my consciousness with God, the one source of all that is. And I focus my attention and efforts on developing these godlike qualities, especially joy, especially beauty in my life. And I gratefully receive and give thanks for all this good and more, for the divine presence in my life with all its qualities. And I release my word into the law of mind, knowing it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And together we say, and so it is. So good morning. So today is June 12th. What's special about June 12th? Well, it is Red Rose Day. It's an annual celebration of love and romance, and personified by this humble but beautiful red rose. So as we stop and smell the roses, the red kind, on this Red Rose Day, we can remember that roses have been used throughout the centuries, used as medicine, as for religious ceremonies, as muses for artists, painters, writers. And the rose was even a symbol of war back in the 15th century when the House of York, represented by a white rose, battled the House of Lancaster, represented by a red rose, for the throne of England. And it was called the War of the Roses. But mostly, red roses have represented love, romance, beauty, respect, and we love to gift them on Mother's Day, on Valentine's Day, and they're expressions of beauty in this world, which we see a lot of ugliness out in the world, but a red rose is a symbol of beauty, and as such, and it can remind us of the spiritual nature of the universe and all that is in it. So with the rose, we can sense the atmosphere of God's presence, of the goodness, the truth, and the beauty of God. And as Ernest Holmes says, no one has ever seen causation. We see what it does. We deal with the effects. We do not see beauty. The artist feels beauty, and then he depicts it as best he can. And the result of his effort is what we call the beautiful. And so even though we don't see beauty itself, we see the form of beauty here in nature in such things as the lovely red rose. Ernest Holmes also says we are surrounded by a mind or intelligence that knows everything, that the potential knowledge of all things exists in this mind, that the abstract essence of beauty, truth, and wisdom that coexists in the mind of the universe, and that we also exist in it, and we can take what we can from it, what we desire from it. And he also poetically says, and I love this quote, we are guided by the same intelligence and inspired by the same imagination, which scatters the moonbeams across the waves and holds the forces of nature in its grasp. So as I look at the red rose, and I walk in nature surrounded by the gifts that God has given us, I can choose those qualities that I wish to embody, those characteristics. I can choose to identify with love and beauty and peace and wisdom and happiness. And this red rose, on Red Rose Day, that can help me in this process. It can help prepare my mind to receive the best that life has to offer. Now, there are other fun holidays around today's date, June 12th. Friday, for example, that was Iced Tea Day. Yesterday was Corn on the Cob Day. And if you like happy hour, Tuesday is a Bourbon Day. The opportunity to savor a glass of bourbon, that uniquely flavored American distilled whiskey. And all these expressions of God in action. And so it is.
Words are flying out like endless rain into a paper cup. They slither as they pass, they slip away across the universe. Pools of sorrow, waves of joy are drifting through my open mind, possessing and caressing me. Jagarun Deva. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Images of broken light which dance before me like a million eyes that call me on and on across the universe. Thoughts meander like a restless wind inside a letterbox. They tumble as they pass, they slip away across the universe. Jagarun Day. change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Nothing's gonna change my world. Sounds of laughter, shades of life are ringing through my open ears, exciting and inviting me. Limitless, undying love, which shines around me like a million suns. It calls me on and on across the universe. Jaguru Deva Om. Nothing's gonna change my world. 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 Jaguru Deva Jaguru Jaguru Deva Jaguru Deva.
And that was great. So now we have the announcements. Do we have someone giving the announcements? Yes, here we have Andrea.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for that, Ken. That was Limitless Dying Love. I'm so grateful that I have a place to come to remember that that's what we're surrounded by, especially in light of current events that are going on in the world. It's really, truly wonderful to have a place like this to come to and remember. Remember to remember. So thank you for that reminder. That's really beautiful. And that is a taste of what you're going to get Friday night when you come here for Kirtan with Ken. That's going to be a wonderful event that's happening this Friday night at 6:30. It starts at 6:30. So also today at 1 o'clock is our wonderful healing support group with our wonderful practitioner, Suzanne Jensen. That's today at 1 o'clock. By the way, if you're new here, welcome to this wonderful community. I know that there are some visitors here today who are here for the first time, and we'd like to open our arms and our hearts and welcome you deeply into this wonderful community. And I'm just going to highlight some of the events that we have going on here. There is a flyer in your brochure that highlights the ongoing events, but I'm going to highlight some of the special events such as Kirtan with Ken, today's healing support group. Wednesday mornings at 9:30 a.m. We continue to have our wonderful Sangha group with Reverend Jeannie Hoffman, and currently what's happening in that group is spiritual cinema. I'm sure there's some fabulous films that are being shown, and that's ongoing for, I think, just a few more weeks, a couple more weeks of that. This Thursday, starting this Thursday, June 16th, from 7 to 9 p.m. is Reverend Mike's class, an 8-week class called The Hero's Journey in Faith and Prosperity. And like I said, that will be ongoing for 8 weeks, and I think it's loosely based on Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey. That's going to be wonderful. I know that's going to be fantastic. And also, if you have a child or children between the ages of 4 and 12, there is a spiritual retreat at, I believe it's going to be at the Center for Spiritual Living in Simi Valley, Friday, June 24th to Saturday, June 25th. a spiritual retreat for children and their parents, the children between the ages of 4 and 12. If you want more information on that, there is a flyer that's available for you somewhere, I'm sure. I have one, so I know there's more if you're interested in that. So again, welcome to today's service, and welcome to the new people, and let us just open our hearts and let the love pour forth to those who are experiencing any kind of difficulty today and always. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. And now we have our Declaration of Principles. So if you'll stand, it's in your program or it's up here. We believe in one universal spirit, manifesting for all, natural and
incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I'm free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yeah, I'm only here for God. Yes, I'm only here for God. One more time, yeah. I'm only here for God, yeah.
Oops. You're leaving bits of yourself up here. All right. Yeah. The irony is not missed that today's or this month is Freedom from Discord, which with all that's going on. But I do want to take a moment to acknowledge a few things. So, first of all, you made it to church on Sunday. Thank you. Some of you have been working on Sundays, I know, so it's nice that you had a day off and decided to get in here today, and we have some new friends visiting. And I want to make sure I get with Salam so he can explain to me what the heck is going on with LeBron James. So that's a great mystery to me these days. So it's great to be here. It's great to see you. And also I wanted to acknowledge and say congratulations to all of our teachers. So we have any Teachers here, anyone who's supporting the school system, you're off for the summer, yes? Almost. Oh, well, you're down to the short strokes. One more day. Wednesday. So we'll just know the truth for you that you can make it to Wednesday then. And I also know that we have at least one person in our community who received a graduate degree this year, yes? Yes, you want to acknowledge that? So let's acknowledge that, yes? So I know there's some people been working on that, and that we have some middle schoolers and junior high schoolers and high schoolers, but also Tatsuo's son and Elizabeth Bates. Some of you remember Elizabeth Bates. Her son Justin graduated from Santa Cruz. We're up where the banana slugs are, and also that Beverly and Rick Sperling's daughter just finished her residency out in Nevada, so she's now an official doctor and an ophthalmologist. So, yeah, so let's give all of them a big hand. You know, it's we don't have these rituals in the old way that transition people from one phase of life, particularly our young people, into the next. So it's a big deal, and it's a wonderful demonstration for the whole family, particularly when these advanced education is made. So it's really a wonderful thing. So I like acknowledging that, and I like acknowledging adult students who get back in there and finish up. So. And it is kind of an odd juxtaposition because I am thinking, you know, on my way in this morning, I had the radio on because I was hoping to get an insight as to what's going on in the NBA finals, because sometimes I am that shallow. And instead, I find that one more time we have a mass shooting of 50 this time, 50 people in a nightclub for a club that happened to be an LGB, I don't know, a gay bar. What does this mean, right? What does this mean in consciousness? In consciousness, let's just go within for a moment and sit with that. You know, we're working with this idea of freedom from discord, and we've been listening to all this stuff going on within our own country, right? Within their own parties. These very discordant voices, progressive, liberal, conservative, to whatever that is. We see what's going on globally. And now one more time we have yet another mass shooting that outside of Israel seems to be like the only place this happens. So how does this happen? It happens because we, and I'm saying we as a human family, forget. We forget that we're all one thing. That we are all one thing. That we are the logical demonstration from the very moments, the very first millisecond of the universe bursting forth in the Big Bang, that we are the logical expression of this one thing. Expressing uniquely as consciousness, uniquely as human consciousness. And so we are one thing, and when we get a sense of this, you know, we get a sense of this when we feel love for the other, but we get fooled. We get fooled into thinking that we're something else. We get fooled into thinking that we're separate from. We get fooled into thinking that it's okay to make these distinctions, even as we participate in the human condition, which, let's face it, you know, part of intelligence is classifying things, labeling them, that we have these concepts that are part of human intelligence. And yet, when this consciousness is allowed to go awry, we end up with wars and rumors of wars. Now, this is not a new thing. We can go to any scripture, right? So the Bhagavad Gita, which is one of the older ones that I'm aware of, but you could even go back to Gilgamesh before that. There are stories of battles and wars. And of course, into what we call the Hebrew Bible or the Old Testament. And then into modern history. Right? So the War of the Roses was a Catholic versus Protestant thing. Right? Christian symbol. Right? 15th century. They probably thought they were pretty smart then, too. 500 years ago. So what is the way out of the dilemma? I got to tell you, I think that each one of us heroically must go within our own consciousness and allow any sense of discord to come forward and to look at it. Because I guarantee you, even as I'm saying this to you, I'm saying it to myself, those places where we have discord are holding us back from the life that we are longing to live. There is within all of us this longing to be connected as one people, regardless of race, ethnicity, religious beliefs. As one people wanting to have an experience of life where my children are just as important to you as your children are as important to me. That's really what it comes down to. So, I've had my own path. I've shared that. I'm going to stop saying I'm a recovering redneck. I'm a recovered redneck. Right? I've had, yes, thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that. But I guess I'm calling for all rednecks out there to get over themselves and to allow that thick hide around the heart to crack open. Maybe by this experience, yet one more time to crack open and to understand that we are all one human family, just trying to figure out how to get through this thing with as much dignity and love. And you know what? The courage to step into it and claim our best life now without making anyone else suffer for that. Right? To create a life in which you and I are lifting ourselves by lifting others. Right? Stepping away from the idea not of creating wealth, but creating wealth for wealth's sake. This is the grand distraction going on right now. Because when people don't feel like they have enough, or they are enough, they do stupid things. It's all just a matter of degrees. It's a matter of degrees. So radical thinking in any way, whether it's radicalized anti-gayism, right? Radicalized, radicalized religious science, right? Where we think we've got something going on over all of them. Well, what is that? That's us and other, again. So what we are teaching, we talk about oneness, yes, but it's from a place of non-dual in the Hindu sense. Non-dual being different than oneness. Because with the word oneness, that implies that there's other, yes? There's oneness and then there's something outside of oneness. Right? We're practicing non-dual thinking. There's only one thing, one power, one presence, one source, one life, one living intelligence, expressing in, through, and as this crazy demonstration of life that we know within it from this place of non-dual thinking, knowing that I am the logical expression of the intelligence of the Spirit, standing right where I am, sitting right where you are, and that we consciously accept the mantle of that knowledge and consciously choose to be different in the world. To be, courageously be the soft-hearted person that speaks up in a soft-hearted way against the verities of life that keep anyone held back in any way. Particularly holding them back for their humanity. Beyond race, beyond who we love, beyond our station in life. I grew up in the military. Beyond the officer kids and the enlisted kids. It starts early, yeah? One thing, one life. And to know from this place, this idea of recognizing that life is non-dual. And it's such an abstract concept, I think. Right? That there's really only one way to entertain it, and that's to sit with it. So the only thing that I can equate it to is when I sit in meditation and the jabbering finally stops, and I just have a sense of being without thinking about being. It's a trippy space to be in. And yet that is the vein in our consciousness that we really want to explore. Right? But just like chipping away in a mine, right, there's always fool's gold out there to distract us from our primary purpose. Our primary purpose really is to first realize that God is here and everywhere else. Now, if I really understand that, I can speak my word with confidence because I know it's God speaking to God, expressing itself as me. In spite of, I know where the warts are, most of them. And the ones that I'm not aware of, I'm sure you'll bring them to my attention in time. Yes? Because that's part of that discord thing again. Right? But when I am practicing this idea of non-dual thinking, that there's only one thing, even your observations of the way that I don't show up in my perfection, even those can pass through without getting hooked. Now that's practice. Right? And I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at it. Man, when I was younger, I could run with stuff. Some days I wake up and I find myself running with stuff. So I have no idea what's up in here. Shall we see? So what comes around goes around. That's the whole point. Right? So most of us think of this, like when someone's done us wrong, what goes around comes around. You're going to get yours. There's a law of karma, and it's going to get you. But this idea of what goes around comes around, we as people who are conscious and conscious of being conscious, we want to work this thing from the other way. Right? We want to release and know our good and know that that's coming around. especially when we're working on the challenging stuff. Right? Now, sometimes that challenge may be in being courageous about something that we're not good at. I think this is why sports are so interesting to us. Right? Because sports have within them moments where we have to step up and be heroic. Right? To make the tackle, to hand off the ball, to not get caught up on the score, but pay attention to our stroke, to charge the net or to hang back. Well, the same thing is true within our own lives. Where are we afraid to, I remember when I went back to college, I was afraid of algebra. Because I was such a horrible student in high school in that particular area. But I had to step into that field if I wanted to go further. What is it? What is it that we're afraid of that keeps us bound? So, we understand that we are an expression of the divine in consciousness. That we can confidently, or sometimes even timidly, but still step out, find the gumption to step out and go on that first date, take that next class, to actually take on that blank page and write something, to call Weight Watchers, to put money in the basket, even though I'm afraid I don't have enough. Yeah, that's the last realm of fear. Right? Wherever it is, that's what we're working with. That's what we work with. I've been thinking about this idea. We have all this stuff going on about Islam these days. Maybe we should consider, and I'm just throwing this out here in a spur of the moment thing, maybe we should consider joining our Muslim friends during Ramadan. As I'm saying it, I'm thinking, what an order. I can't go through with it. Right? To join in the fast. We can at least do that as a sign of equanimity. Got to do something. Something's got to shift. We're the ones to do it. We're the ones to do it. I really believe in this teaching because of this one thing. If we really understand that there's only one thing expressing, as consciousness, the consciousness of the one mind expressing and channeled through me, then as I keep my eye single on that, on spirit, as I keep my commitment clear on allowing spirit to do its thing by means of my life, right? So what did the teacher say? The faith of a mustard seed will move a mountain. Right? But it starts with the faith. If we have that, then we are free of discord, including our own judgments around our faith. Right? Well, my faith's not enough. Well, get over yourself. It is enough. It is enough. And we will demonstrate to the level of our faith. And then guess what? Then we'll demonstrate to the level of our faith. And demonstrate to the level of our faith in that upward spiral of good. So, I had some really great slides. Let me throw a little Ernest Holmes in there. This I got from Barbara today, our board president. The path isn't a straight line, it's a spiral. So remember last week we were talking about the Fibonacci sequence, the golden spiral? You continually come back to things you thought you understood and see deeper truths. So this is the interesting thing about life. And the interesting thing about our spiritual practice, the things that hook us are the things that hook us, right? And they hook us less each time we go around the spiral, right? Until finally, they don't hook us anymore. Now what's happened, right? We understand, right? That we've had a healing, which means that we have a sense of wholeness within ourselves. So in spite of anything that's going on, we can step confidently into life, knowing that there is one infinite intelligence, one living intelligence, one power, one presence, one source, one life of God, expressing in, through, and as all of it. And that at where I sit and where I stand right now, that I am allowing my heart to open up in a new way to fully realize the presence of the Lord expressing as me in a myriad of ways. Within my health, within my relationships, within my creative expression, within my career, within my money concerns, that all of it is the field for which Spirit can come forward and demonstrate in its infinitude of plenty the abundance of life and love that God is. And then something interesting happens. People say, something's different about you. You've changed. You used to be a redneck. I actually had my plumber tell me this. Man, something's really different about you. What are you talking about? Oh, you used to be just irritated and pissed off all the time. I'm like, no, I wasn't. Right? So in 12-step they say, God will do for us what we can't do for ourselves. In our spiritual practice, I think that happens naturally. Right? We just have to open up. Open up, open up, open up. All right, so that's enough out of me. Let's all take a deep breath while Ken makes his way over. That's a lot better than the talk that I gave at the first service, just so you know. So let's play around with freedom from discord. Right? What's the way out of that puzzle is to understand that there's only one thing. Right? This idea of non-dualism. And to be willing to sit with that abstract idea, yes. But it's not an algebra problem. But we can go within today, as we leave here today, and allow ourselves to consider ways to be the presence of the Lord, to be the presence of the law, to be the presence of love, to be the presence of life today. Practice it today. And we'll take that awareness into our work week and report back next week, or how about on Thursday, and we'll see how it went.
Some things I may not know. There are some places dear Lord, I may not go, but there is one thing wish I'm sure my God is real, for I can know Him in my soul. Yes, God is real in my soul. Yes, God is real, for His word and made me whole. Yes, His love for us, it shines like pure gold. Yes, God is real, for I can know Him in my soul. I have found a way to live in the presence of the Lord. I have found a way to live in the presence of the Lord. I have found a way to live in the presence of the Lord. And so in the name, round, 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 seats around, round, 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 seats around, round, round. I have found a way to live in the presence of the Lord. I have found a way to live in the presence of the Lord. Round, 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 the seats around, round, round. Round, 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 seats around. Yeah, I found a way to live in the presence of the Lord. In the presence of the Lord. In the presence of the Lord. In the presence of the Lord, 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 in the presence.
Nice one. You didn't write that by any chance, did you?
No, it's Krishna Das.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
All right. So as we prepare our gifts for the offering, we'll call our ushers forward. Ken will take us in, and I'll call the kids in. I am so blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed.
I am so
blessed. I am so grateful.
I am so blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So going within, recognizing that the gifts presented here this morning are a demonstration of consciousness that knows and knows that it knows that God is our source, our substance, our supply. So from the generous heart of the individual from which these gifts have been offered, we, representing the heart of this community, accept these gifts with deep appreciation, love, and respect, as we know together they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless the life of each person here this morning, the life of anyone connected to this center in any way. That we know this blessing extends out to include our friends in this community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them. That we know for our planet as well that there is the one universal mind of spirit expressing in, through, and as all of it. And to the extent that we know this to be so, we see it demonstrating in all ways, great and small. This lifts our heart. We feel a sense of grace that empowers us into expressing spiritual living in all realms of life. We are grateful. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. So please say thank you. Help me say thank you to lovely Rita and sweet Sue, our ushers this morning. So, it's time to step up and deliver. How you doing? Maybe you can tell me what's going on with LeBron. It's a big mystery today to me. Do you understand what's going on there? No? Too much defense? Am I putting you on the spot? I'm sorry. What'd you do back there?
We did blessing boomerangs. It says the good you do comes back to you, and it's kind of like karma. That's it.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Nicely done. How you doing? You good down there? You're good? You don't want to check in with anything? No? All right. All right, so thanks for bringing your kids to church. I know sometimes that's not the easiest thing to do. Thank you all for being here this morning. Let's thank Ken one more time. And thank your brothers and sisters for supporting you in consciousness and getting to church here today. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Acknowledge each other. All right, brothers and sisters in spirit. How's that? All right. Okay, so let's thank you all for being here. I'll see you on Thursday. If you have any questions, you can corner me out there. Let's invite Reverend Elizabeth up to pray us out. And thanks again, Ken.
So if any ministers, practitioners will space themselves around the room. I speak my word for each person here. I want to thank everyone for being here and for the awesome music from Ken, our musical director. Truly awesome. So you join me in consciousness, please. So I speak my word for each and every person here as I declare right here, right now, I remember we are all one thing. I am an expression of the one thing, and I release any ideas that I am separate from others. I go within my own consciousness and I examine any concepts or thoughts of discord. I release that discord. I free myself from discord. And I revel in the opening of my heart to the one human family. I claim my best life now, knowing I am enough, I have enough, and I know I am an expression of creative intelligence, and that I can and will love and support all people, all life, the one life. As I sit in my quiet meditation, calm and joyous in my feeling of unity with the one, I know I can step up, use my energies, my thinking, my consciousness to create a world that works for all, to create a world without discord. And I gratefully receive and give thanks for Reverend Mike for today, for all this good and more flowing into our experience. I release my word into the law of mind, knowing it returns to me, multiplied abundantly. And together we say, so it is.
Please stand for the peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. I think that's the first song that I ever did at a first church thing. Hi. Oh, you're You're welcome.
Are you doing some of that stuff on Friday too?
Yeah, I'm not going to do those two particular ones, but they're going to be traditional Indian. Yeah, basically it's going to be you chanting for about 10 minutes on each chant, and they're going to be like Hari Ram, Gopala, Govinda Jai, all the really old Sanskrit chants. Yeah. All right, man. See you later.